Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of This Week in the Lab. We're going to do this is episode 2. We're going to follow kind of a standard format. I'm going to show you kind of some deals we've got on stuff, or maybe stuff people give us. And then we'll do maybe some projects or some work we're doing, and then we'll end it with the meeting that we have every week, our electronics club meeting, and you'll kind of see some of the stuff that goes on there. So we'll start out like always, and I want to also say that if we refer to the lab, we're referring to here where you see us most. If we refer to the shop, we're referring to my shop in town, and you'll see us film in both places. I just wanted to kind of clear that up. We have 2 locations, but we're going to, for all intent and purposes, we're going to call it This Week in the Lab, even though we'll be filming in both places. So let's just jump right in, and I'll show you some stuff that we picked up this week. As usual, we've been by the Home Depot and we got some more of these mismix paint samples. There's a couple of good browns here. We can use those for a project. And just got back from the flea market actually this morning. Picked up a few good things there. These nice wrenches, hope you can see that, with 2 of them. These were $1 each, and they're Cornwells. This one's 11/16 and 3/4. This one's 9/16, 5/8. Kind of odd that they're not the same size on both ends, but they'll still be useful. They got this nice crook to get around into a spot, and these ends have the nice bend on them. So this one's got a lot of paint on it. Probably someone marked it as being theirs with a certain color. We'll clean those up, and those will be useful, very useful to us. Found this micrometer, and it has, you can see that it has these sharp points on it. And this is actually a 1-inch micrometer because it has to have room for these points. But this will be great. It's a Fowler, which is not a bad brand. This will be great for, I'll just use this tape for example, miking tubing, and you can see it gets in there, even smaller tubing, anything this will fit in. And you can't mic tubing with a standard micrometer because it has the disc on it, and it'll give you a false reading because of the curvature in here. So these will be really good for miking tubing, and I think these were $20. I paid for these. Got to adjust them very slightly. I'll have to put a standard in there and I'll adjust it. And the last thing we got at the flea market was this nice, it's a Smith's Tri-Hone, and this has 3 different grades of honing stone on it, and a nice wooden stand. There's a crack in this side, but we'll put some wood glue in there and clamp it, and it'll be as good as new. We got this for $20. I think these sell for like $60 now. I could be wrong, but I think the last time I looked, they were getting on up there. This will be really good for honing our lathe bits down after we grind them. You want to get a really nice edge on your lathe bit if you're going to do any precision cutting. We still grind a lot of high-speed steel bits for our lathe. So that'll do us real good for that. We'll clean some of the dust off of it, and we'll put some oil in these stones to give them a little bit of a scrubbing to get they're a little loaded with the steel from being used. So we'll clean those up and clean up all this, glue that back together. Yeah, that's going to be a great addition to the shop and the lab. This and actually all these tools we'll probably take to the shop, the bigger shop, instead of leaving them here at the lab. So yeah, that's This Week in Bargains. Well, this is going to be one of our next projects here in the shop. It's kind of hard to see. This is a 3-speed transmission. This hiding back here is a 4-speed. This is out of a 1930 Chevrolet pickup. This one's out of a car, 1930 Chevrolet also. But we're going to hope to save this 4-speed. This is the one the guy wants to put back in his truck that he's restoring. We've got the top off of it. As you can see, it's pretty crusty in there. We're going to have to take this all apart and clean everything, replace the bearings, get it back going again. Just some more fun in the shop. Tommy is rewiring this 1957 GE stove, General Electric. This is his project this week. Believe it or not, he's just kind of starting on this wiring. This is just the basic, getting everything ready. I'm gonna start working on some shelves for this little area here. We set this up to put stock on, and as you can see, it's just all mixed up. I want to put another shelf in here so we can separate this. I mean, we got plastic, there's brass, some aluminum stuff in here. It'd be nice to separate all this out and take advantage of this wasted space we got here. So we're going to cut a couple pieces of wood and put across here and then install another shelf, I believe. Alright, so I started this last club meeting, and basically I'm going to do a shelf here. We had this big space. This is a cart designed for kind of an entertainment center like system kind of thing, and we've repurposed it. But it's huge here and it's kind of a waste of space, and our stock kind of has been mixed up in this box for a while, and I don't really like that. So I started last club meeting putting this together, and I got these two in to put another shelf here so we can separate this stock out. And I put this in, and I kind of want to make it look better, so I'm going to stain this. I'm going to take it back out. It's screwed in from the back, and I'm going to stain it. And I have not decided yet if I want to put, we get a lot of these tubes when we order stock from various companies. I don't know if I want to put a row of tubes in here to kind of stick stock in, or maybe even saw them in half, run through the table saw and saw them in half and have a row of those, or if I actually want to put a shelf in here. So that'll yet to be decided, but I am going to take these out and try to stain them to somewhat match the rest of this. So I think I'll do that next. There they are. We'll stain these and put them back in. Alright, so hopefully we got the right color stain. Pull out our box of stain here, which actually is on this shelf too. So this is it's mostly stain that we've gotten cheap, because Home Depot actually mixes these colors. And if they mismix them a little bit, we get them for like 50 cents. There's a couple of these that a little bit got spilled, and we got them for like $3. That's most of it. Some of it we have bought because we need it for a project. And well, that's actually the one I think that I was looking at. This is a black cherry, and I think that's going to match this best. It'll either turn out good or won't look any worse than the completely different color we had there. Put the bare wood back, and we'll start staining. Okay, so we've laid some newspaper down to start staining, because I don't want to get stain just all over the workbench here. And put on gloves, because the last thing I want to do, or any of us should do, is take our wife out to a nice dinner with stain and whatnot all over our hands, looking like a slob. So we've shaken this up really well and give it a good stir. This is the black cherry, and I always used Minwax stain, but this Rust-Oleum does seem to be pretty good, and there's some colors I can't find in the Minwax. So I've kind of expanded my horizons a little bit, started using this. And normally I use an old t-shirt or I buy rags to put stain on, but I didn't seem to have any laying around the shop today, so I went and got my wife told me that these weren't worth wearing anymore. Can you believe that? I think they're perfectly good pants, but nevertheless, whatever the wife says, right guys? So I'm going to cut a piece of this off. It uses a rag to put this stain on. This should work pretty good. Start working that in. I can tell already this is going to be a pretty good match to our cabinet over there. Should have kept that a little wetter so I don't see any lines, but yeah, this is going to turn out looking pretty good. And this is actually the back of the boards. I started with the back just in case there was some kind of catastrophic failure with the color. This is the side you might not see quite as much, but I think that's going to turn out looking pretty nice and matching. Just in an attempt to make the shop, or the lab, we're actually doing this for the lab, just kind of make the fixtures look a little better. It's all soup to taste. If you're not concerned in your lab or shop about the fixtures all matching, then that's totally up to you, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm attempting to make stuff look a little nicer down here. Yeah, I think that's going to look nice. I'm going to go ahead and finish staining everything, and we'll come back when it all dries. This takes about an hour to dry. It's pretty quick. So I'll finish this up and show you what it looks like, and then we'll reinstall them and figure out if we're going to do a shelf or if we're going to do the tubing design. Alright, well, I've got them stained, or at least the first round. I think I'm going to let them dry and go over them one more time to darken them. I did go over there and test, and they are a pretty close match. It is a cherry, so it's got a little red tinge to it, and that's a little off from our actual, what we're dealing with over there, our stand, but we are dealing with real wood here that is made out of pressed wood, so it kind of has a fake covering on it. But I'm going to let that dry, give it about an hour to dry, and I'm going to go over it again and darken it some more, let it soak in and darken it some more. And also that's why I wear gloves right there, because I am not the master at staining wood or keeping myself clean doing any job, so that's why. But better on the gloves than on my hands. Alright, here's our completed shelf, and as you can see, it matches pretty good the stain we use. This is a little off, but I'm happy with it. I did decide to go the route of actually putting a shelf in here, and all I had laying around was some hardboard, which does not match, but it still doesn't look too bad, and hardboard doesn't really take stain. So that worked out pretty good. We can sort of separate. I might go in later and put some dividers in, but it let us pull the aluminum and plastics and brasses, bronze up away from just the steel and stuff, so we can kind of have a better visual of what kind of materials we have here. And I want to add also, we got some questions. All these steel rods you see down here is stuff we've took out of printers. This is a great material. We've built all kind of little widgets out of this stuff. It's just well, some of it's stainless actually, but a lot of good steel that machines quite well, and it's just all out of printers. But anyway, there's our shelf, and much better to use this space for storage than just have it empty.
I brought my camera too if you want to use that.
Do it with
2 cameras and do it in 3D. A new segment getting 3D with Tommy D.
Well, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but
No, it's not, Tommy.
it's the only torch we have here. It's kind of a slow process.
Oh, yeah, see? This is why you guys should come over to my shop. I got all kinds of stuff
We need to get a propane torch to keep here. At the very least, we should have one of those.
This camera still wanting to do that autofocus thing. For no apparent reason.
That aluminum sucks anyway really fast.
Yeah, it does. It's probably just heat the jaws of the vise. Not that do the work.
$150 worth of camera on that thing. If it goes down, that's pretty bad.
Alex, from this angle, it looks like you're wearing this light on your head.
Are their horns holding it up?
It looks like a hat.
There have been worse.
Type 2 would make it where you have to get yourself a shot all the time.
I'd be kind of skeptical.
Yeah. That's some kind of like gene therapy or something. Man. It's like some sort of genetic. Like a friend of mine went to never mind. Joey's filming, so I don't want to talk about it.
This is what it reminded me of. This show was
It's like a little bag.
It was in my toolbox, like in a compartment in the toolbox. And the fan quit working in it. It got so much dust. And it would overheat. For a long time I had a fan sitting under it.
Everything was laser cut. So I just had to like form it all. Made a little alteration here.
Is that the one that was flying
Yeah.
in the video?
Oh, it took about 3 hours to build it. No, basically, I spent part of the money just buying this transmitter and the plane.
Right.
Figured I'd play around with planes for a little while. Basically, I bought that drone to go to Hawaii.